Okay. So, day 3 already. Welcome back, everyone. And once again, this is Empowering the Healer workshop series. I am your host, Peter Van Twyver. And as promised yesterday, this is a meditation-free zone today. We're not doing a meditation because I was worried that if we do meditation every night, you're just going to stop coming because it's like, oh, another meditation, right? So we have other things we can do. But you do want to have a pen and notebook ready to journal your experiences because you'll likely have something that you're going to experience tonight. And as we have done over the previous 2 nights, we will be going over the 30 minutes. I don't want to be too strict on ending it at 30. We probably will go to 40. Most especially, we're starting a little late. So if you have to leave at 7:30, I'll honor your time, and that's totally fine. You just sneak out, no worries. And the replay of this mini workshop will be posted in the Facebook group, Empowering the Healer Community. That's our private Facebook group. Has everybody joined that? Drop a Y in the chat if you're a member. Okay. Got a couple of Ys, that's good. Okay. So that's where all the stuff is stored for the replays and the handouts and stuff like that go with these sessions. You don't have to join, but if you don't join, I'm not sure how I'm going to get you access to the sessions. So for the right now, they're going to be in the Facebook group. So if you're still having trouble finding the replays, they're in the guide section now. And what you do is you look for the banner, the main graphic for the Facebook group. It's the first thing you see when you come in. And there's a little sort of a menu right underneath that, and it'll say about, discussions, guides, and then there's other stuff as you go on left to right. You just click on guides, and the guides will also self-post when I add to them, so there shouldn't be any trouble finding them. But if you're still having trouble with stuff, if there's any difficulties downloading, let me know. You can email me at support@selfcareforhealerssummit.com. That's support@selfcareforhealerssummit.com. That's all one word. Self-Care for Healers Summit is all one word. So, so why don't we just get started? We'll go right into it. So now that we've learned to get in touch with our feelings, that's what we did on day 1. And we've learned how to maximize our confidence. That's what we did yesterday. Day 2, we can now start to dig a little deeper to eliminate our fear. And fear operates more deeply and more powerfully in our being than confidence issues do, since the core of our confidence issues are typically rooted in fear. So I decided to do confidence first and then go back and do fear. I'm thinking, if you work on your confidence, that's one less layer to dig through to get to the fear. So in this 30-minute session, we're not going to try to conquer our greatest fear, nor should we try. That's a process that takes work and may vary greatly from person to person. I'm sure that makes sense. So, but this work has to get done for us to heal and to ascend. So let's begin our discussion with, where does fear come from? So we know that our thoughts can be powerful. And in the movie The Secret, a number of the speakers say that thoughts become things. So what's the problem with that? Well, throughout the day, according to Dr. Joe Dispenza, you process about 60,000 thoughts, and perhaps 95% of them or more tend to be based on negative experiences in the past, and they're housed in the subconscious. So they're tough to get to. But that also means that 95% of the time we are acting or reacting through habits. So take that a step further. We're only using our conscious mind and free will only about 5% of the time. So we truly are creatures of habit, and we are programmable by design. I hope that makes sense. So as an example, have you ever driven from point A to B and realized that you don't remember parts of that commute? You wake up and, oh, I'm there. And your conscious mind or decision-making mind wasn't needed for you to get from point A to point B. And that's kind of scary, isn't it? But if you've been driving for a number of years, you don't need your conscious mind to drive for you. It's only when you're coming to a red light or somebody cuts you off or something happens that the conscious mind will kick in. And otherwise, it's kind of turned off. So that's kind of scary. So going down this path about thoughts, thoughts also lead to a visceral reaction. Visceral is just another way of saying that emotions and feelings are generated in the gut. So if your thoughts focus on negative events in the past, like Dr. Joe says, then you tend to generate negative feelings and emotions in your gut. So to overcome fear and negative programming that's associated with that fear, you need to do the following. You need to, one, identify the fear. That's any negative programming or emotion that you want to remove from your being. Two, you choose to reject that fear. That's setting an intention to get rid of it. And three, then you got to reprogram the brain. That's taking action. So there's two ways, well, there's at least two components to that. You have to stop the negative programming. So negative programming could be watching the news, and how depressing can that be, especially if we're talking about negative stuff, watching violent movies, hanging out with people that you know and feel are toxic, because those situations perpetuate and potentiate the fear. So stop the damage, stop the programming, and then choose more positive stuff, positive affirmations, healthy relationships, taking the actions that we're going to talk about tonight. We got some good stuff tonight. And you want to overwrite that previous negative programming with something a lot more positive. So you have to choose to change and then do the work. Now, it is your right to choose. And if you don't choose, you're accepting it. You're choosing by not choosing. If you don't change, you're choosing the negativity. So why do that? So you want to consider, do you want to be programmed, or do you want to program yourself to be the best you that you can be? Kind of stealing a quote from last night. So remember, if you're wasting your time stewing on fear, wasting your time and energy on fear, then you won't have time to heal and to grow. So some people think either you're growing or you're dying. So there's another choice you can make. Which would you rather have? So if you realize that fear is just another type of negative programming that can be overwritten, then we can conquer any type of fear. And as you know, you've heard this before, fear is an acronym that stands for false evidence appearing real. In the case of fear, tonight we're going to talk about fear of failure specifically. There is no failure, there's only feedback. So learn the lesson from the temporary setback of failure and move on. So it's only failure when you accept it as such. Don't do that. Instead, fear becomes something else. How about a better acronym for fear? Face everything and rise. I didn't make that up. I learned that at a class. I can't coin that. I can't say I coined that. So, hi, how are you?
Doing fine.
Hey, Robert, I'm just going to mute you, okay? Welcome. So we're going to start our daily exercise now, and I'm going to post notes about this. So don't worry about, oh my God, what is he talking about? Just kind of relax, listen, and allow, okay? So in the daily exercise today, we're going to focus on pervasive fear that can undermine our confidence that we talked about yesterday. And like I said, we're going to focus on fear of failure. And this particular type of fear goes by other names that you may know well, like self-doubt, self-sabotage, among others. And what we're going to do is we're going to continue to deconstruct this fear. So this is a type of divine masculine healing. We're kind of picking it apart until we bring the truth out, which is that fear is an illusion. So we're going to keep picking at it and add stuff to overwrite it, as we discussed earlier. So fear of failure is well, it's got a pretty bad rap. So failure refers to not achieving the desired outcome. And when you ponder that literal meaning of not achieving the desired outcome, it doesn't sound that bad, right? But in our society, the word failure has a stigma attached to it. There are many negative emotions that are attached to the word failure, including humiliation, not being good enough, shame, loss. I'm sure we can think of more. And we're conditioned to fear failure through our upbringing, through society, through our friends, our family. You know, some people really have a problem with the concept of failure. But failure is frequently seen by many as devastating and an unsuccessful endpoint or the worst possible outcome. But is it really? You know? So here's a way of thinking of it. This will make you feel better. So Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. You've heard this many times, and it took him about 10,000 attempts. So if it's 10,000 attempts, so on the 10,000th attempt, he got it, right? So does that mean that the previous 9,999 attempts were failures? So they couldn't be, because he didn't give up, he kept going. So 9,999 failures, certainly not. He learned from each and every attempt. So to Edison, each failure was a stepping stone to his eventual success. So sometimes you need to experience failure to know what success really is. So it's just a shift in thinking that you can really use to overcome this, okay? So the stigma attached to the word failure is almost always worse than the reality. So if we intend success, we will achieve success. If our intention is failure, we will certainly experience that. And yes, many people knowingly or unknowingly set their intention on failure by their negative self-talk and by their focusing on doing the wrong things or thinking the wrong things, wrong thinking. Or even simply, like I said before, choosing. If you don't choose the intention of success, maybe you're setting yourself up for failure. You got to focus on the desired outcome. So we'll talk more about that when we have the manifestation masterclass. So the universe will provide the right timing, places, experiences, people, and resources necessary to enable us to achieve whatever we ask for. And you have to ask for it correctly. We'll talk about that on the masterclass. So sometimes the desired outcome does not occur when we want it to because it's not the right time. Maybe something better is coming. So perhaps our desired outcome is not in our highest and best interest. So that's also not failure. It's just the universe is kind of doing this. No, we got something better for you. Just wait, be patient. So we can't truly fail unless we give up and accept failure. Don't forget that. So do we really need to fear a temporary setback or learning situation? Because that's what failure truly is. It's a chance to learn. So remember, fear is as real as you make it. It's an illusion. So now that we've deconstructed the fear of failure into the illusion that it really is, we're now ready to reprogram our brains with something a little more positive and useful. And we're going to start with an affirmation. And this isn't all we're going to do, but it's a nice start. Okay. So the affirmation the affirmation is I am, and it's very powerful to use the words I am, because that just sets the brain up for that intention. And it is, I am perfect, powerful, loving, grateful, happy, confident, complete, and fearless. So how does that sound? So I'm going to write this down and post in the guides, but for now, just kind of follow along. Just repeat after me. I am perfect, powerful, loving, grateful, happy, confident, complete, and fearless. We'll do that again. I am perfect, powerful, loving, grateful, happy, confident, complete, and fearless. So if this seems like there's too many things, you can maybe cut one or two out, whatever you feel like doing. This is the first time I've ever used this affirmation. I designed it specifically for you guys. You don't have to use it exactly. You do want to add the fearless at the end, and I am perfect, powerful, loving, grateful. Those are pretty good. I threw confident in there because we've been working on that since yesterday. So one more time, repeat after me. I am perfect, powerful, loving. I'll just, okay. So if you're coming in, please mute. I am perfect, powerful, loving, grateful, happy, confident, complete, and fearless. And you don't want to just say it like a robot. Just don't say it for the sake of saying it, because it won't work. You want to add some feeling. Remember the feeling that we injected into the meditation yesterday was the feeling that you won $1 billion. Just imagine that feeling, like, wow, you know, or the 5-year-old kid waiting to open presents on Christmas morning. You know how amazing that feeling is. So you want to inject feeling when you're saying this, but also feel the power that the words have. When you repeat this affirmation, feel the feelings associated with these words. The words are very powerful. So how do the words make you feel? And then to amp that up, you want to add those feelings like, you know, Christmas, or your dog, your unconditional love, whatever injects a huge amount of high vibration feeling into the process, okay? Repeating this affirmation will further enhance your confidence and abundance, and should be done frequently throughout the day. Eventually, those words will become your new normal. And this isn't all we're going to do. This is a good start. But remember, don't just recite this for the sake of doing it. Sense, feel, and know that the affirmation's working. So reciting the affirmation is setting an intention, and it's an action. You're actually doing something. You're saying it. You're feeling it. You're knowing it. You're working it. You're owning it. Okay. But to increase the power and the effectiveness of this affirmation, we're going to add EFT, emotional freedom technique, or tapping. If you're not familiar with EFT or how it works, all you have to do, don't worry about it. You don't have to know what it is. All you need to know is that it works. It does. And you need to know how to do it. So EFT is also called tapping. There are a number of points on the body that you're going to tap, so that further adds action to the intention. And the tapping points are meridian points on the body. They're very powerful. And there's a lot of research that goes behind this, and this stuff is powerful. So we're going to do the affirmation with the tapping, okay? So the tapping points, you start with a karate point that's tapping the side of the hand. That's, if you did karate, that's where you the karate chop right on the side of the hand. That's called the karate chop point. The next one is right on the inside of the eyebrow. Now you want to be careful because you're tapping your face. You don't want to bruise yourself. You're tapping lightly. You tap 7 to 8 times. It doesn't matter which side. If you're lefty, you know, lefty's fine. Righty's fine. If you switch sides, totally fine. So karate chop point is first. Eyebrow, side of the eye, under the nose, top of basically the chin. The 2 points that we did yesterday, your K27, it's a straight line down from the side of the face, just under the collarbone. That point should be a little bit tender. And then the last one, well, the second to last one is under the armpit, 4 inches down from the armpit. And what I do is, they're tough to hit for me, so I tap them with my thumb. And then the top of the head to finish it off. Okay, so let me do that again. So karate chop point. 7 to 8 times on the tapping. Tap lightly. Eyebrow, side of the eye. You can do these with me. Under the eye. And remember, around the eye is very sensitive, so do not tap. Don't tap vigorously. Tap lightly. Because then, if you're tapping yourself hard, you're not focusing on what's going on. You're focusing on the pain that you're creating. Under the nose, chin, K27 points. So the one right underneath the collarbone. I automatically tap them both at the same time. You can do one or both hands. It doesn't matter. I'm just used to tapping this one with 2 hands. And then under the armpit, again, this is another one I tap with 2 hands. You could do one or both. I mean, you could really get into it and do both. It's up to you. This one's single hand, single hand, single hand, and single hand. Okay. So I'll do this one more time so you can see it. Karate chop point first. You can do these with me. Eyebrow, outside of the eye, under the nose, chin. K27 points are right under the collarbone. It's a straight line down from the side of the face, under the armpit, top of the head, the crown. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to say the affirmation and do the tapping at the same time, injecting the feeling in there. Okay. So why are we doing this? Just want to review. We're doing this because we're trying to overwrite negative programming and put something better in. The subconscious mind will have trouble accepting something new unless it's better, right? If it's a bigger, better deal, the subconscious will buy it. Subconscious also does not like negatives. So if you're using not or I don't, that doesn't work. So I like I am, and then you want to use some awesome words like perfect, powerful, like we did. And then to enhance that, you inject feeling. And to further enhance that, we're going to inject tapping into the process. Okay. So here we go. So you just follow me. I am perfect. I am powerful. I am loving. I am grateful. I am happy. I am confident. I am complete. And I am fearless. And just to finish it off, I'm going to tap the top of the head too. Okay. So we'll do that again. And because I'm tapping, I'm also adding I am with each one. If you're just saying the affirmation, you don't need to do that. If you're tapping, you want the positive verb. You want the I am. Remember, don't use I am not. That not doesn't work. So I am perfect. I am powerful. I am powerful. I am loving. I am grateful. I am happy. I am confident. I am complete. I am fearless, under the armpit. And just to finish it off, I'll tap the top of the head. If you'd like to add another word in there, just to have it match the tapping points, you can. So one more time. I am perfect. Tap 7, 8 times. I am powerful. I am loving. I am grateful. I am happy. I am confident. I am complete. I am fearless. We'll finish it off. So always remember that this is an intention. You want to set intention before you do any tapping. So the affirmation sets an intention. There's also the feeling, and you're adding the action to it by saying it and by tapping. So that's all well and good. How does everybody feel? Do you want, if you could drop a Y in the chat to let me know how, just to check in, let me know how you're feeling. Does this feel like it works? If it doesn't work, you just tap a little bit more. You do more reps so everyone's doing well. Okay. So, okay. Yeah, it might be too soon to tell if how powerful it is. Another way to gauge this is if you want to work on a specific fear. If we're setting an intention to eliminate fear, you can use a scale from 0 to 10. So how bad for you is the fear of failure? You can even write that down right now. What number is it between 0 and 10? 0 is gone, eliminated, or 10, the worst possible fear ever. What is that number right now? And then whatever that number is, you know, if it's not 0, you got to keep tapping. Okay. But wait, there's more. There's another technique we're going to do. But you could always continue with tapping after the session. I just want to add another technique. So this is called Ho'oponopono. A number of you are going to be familiar with it. It is a Hawaiian forgiveness ritual. It's pretty simple. It consists of 4 statements. If you don't know what it is, I know it's a tough one to say and spell. Don't worry, I'm going to post something in the guides about this. It's just 4 statements. So this is another one. If you don't know what it is, don't worry about it. It works. Remember, 1, it works, and 2, you just have to know how to do it. And there's 4 statements that you say out loud, like we did with the affirmation. Those statements are: I am sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Okay. And again, you want to set an intention. So for this particular exercise, working on the fear of failure, you want to forgive yourself for carrying this fear in your system for so long. And so this Ho'oponopono process, this ritual, is going to further transmute the fear. So forgiving yourself for your mistakes may be the hardest thing you ever do. So set that intention right now in the way that's perfect for you, where you can just repeat after me. I forgive myself for carrying this fear in my system for so long. Okay, so set that intention now. Okay, and if you'd like, if you want to be advanced, rather than just do the Ho'oponopono, how about you do the Ho'oponopono and add tapping? I've never done that before. I just kind of pulled that out of my backside. So what do you think? Let's give it a shot. So here we go. I am sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And I'll just tap the head to finish it off. About maybe once more around. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Okay. And if you accidentally miss one of the meridian points, I know I made a mistake previously. That's okay. It still works. You don't have to have it perfect. It's the intention, it's the action. You can always do it again if you didn't get it right, not a problem. So I think this combination of ritual, remember we talked about yesterday, one of our speakers from the summit that we had, Self-Care for Healers, back in April, Alberto Bioldo, is a shaman, and he says ritual is how we change our brain. Humans need ritual to change how we think and how we act. That's changing the brain. So Ho'oponopono is a ritual. Tapping is a ritual. It's an action that you take to change, right? So I'm not saying, as cool as these are and as cool as they are together, I don't know if anyone else does that, combining them. That's the first time I've seen it. I'm not saying that as cool as these rituals are, I'm not saying that they're going to eliminate all your fears. You've spent a lifetime allowing and incorporating fear into your very being. So there's many layers to it. It will take work to eliminate all your fears and reprogram the brain. And how much work depends on person to person. So my intention here is to tackle this one particular fear, the fear of failure, give you a quick taste of success with overcoming it so that you can move on and tackle other fears when you're ready. So if you're checking in, if you're, give me another number now. So we just took a number. How bad was the fear of failure before we did this ritual? How is it now? Give yourself another number. So if it's not 0, you got to keep doing this stuff. So you can go back and do the affirmation with the tapping, then do the Ho'oponopono with the tapping. How is that number again? And then when you feel like you're at a 0, you've eliminated your fear. And if you don't get to 0, maybe there's another fear that's blocking this fear, or there's something else that's blocking. You might need a mentor or someone to help you, but if you can get it down to 0, woohoo, good for you, okay? It takes work. So in order for you to succeed with this kind of a process, you got to do the work. You only need a few minutes per day to master this process. Frequency is the key to success here, because the subconscious mind needs repetition, 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 okay? So can you carve out just a few minutes every day to invest in yourself. Okay. Please do that. So let's recap what we learned. We learned about affirmations and how powerful they are. We need to inject feeling into that affirmation to make it powerful. Adding tapping can make it exponentially more powerful. We learned about Ho'oponopono. We didn't dig deep into what tapping and Ho'oponopono is. We just learned how to do it. That's sufficient for the right now. We learned that, hey, why not add tapping to Ho'oponopono to increase exponentially the power of both of those rituals at the same time. So I everybody enjoyed that and got something out of that. We're a little over our time, but unlike last night, I don't have to scoot. I can stay for questions. If you do have questions, if you're watching the replay, remember to email me at support@selfcareforhealerssummit.com. Self-Care for Healers Summit is all one word. And don't forget to check out your worksheet and the guides. Post your takeaways in the community, our community, Empowering the Healer Facebook community. And I look forward to your questions and feedback. So before we end, I can take some questions. But tomorrow night, we're going to learn about embracing our intuition, which is our birthright. So that's taking feelings that we did on day one, having the confidence to listen to those feelings, pushing aside the fear that would interfere with using and interpreting those feelings. That's ego getting in the way. And we're going to embrace intuition tomorrow night. And in particular, discernment. That's a critical skill for any healer. So that's session 4 of our 5-day series. That's tomorrow night at the same time. So does anybody have a question? You can either raise your hand or it's a quiet bunch. That's fine. So if you want to give me, Katie's gonna get a hand up, but before we take Katie's question, everybody get something out of that session tonight? Good. Okay. Good. Remember, if anything comes up after, or if you have a question, feel free to email me. You can email me anytime. So to answer the question, I'm going to actually stop the recording. So Katie, is that okay?
Yes.
Okay to stop the recording. Okay, here we go. I'm going to stop. Thank you, everyone.